What if I told you that one design choice could cost you tens of thousands of dollars when you try to sell your Montana home? Not because it's ugly, not because it's old, but because it's Montana buyers just don't want it. Today we're talking about home styles that struggle to sell in Montana, why buyers hesitate to buy them, and if you'll stick with me till the end, I'll tell you about the styles that Montana buyers absolutely love. And if you're buying, building, or selling in Montana, this video could save you a lot of money. So let's get into it. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Montana Real Estate Channel, brought to you by Siphers Family Real Estate. I'm Craig Siphers, and my family has been helping folks buy and sell real estate in western Montana for over half a century. And if you're looking to buy or sell in western Montana, we want to be a resource for you, and all the information is in the description below. So if this is your first time here, welcome. We break down Montana real estate, neighborhoods, price points, culture, locations, communities, lifestyle trends, buyer behavior, and what actually works in the market. So if you've been here before, hey, thanks for coming back. You already know that Montana is not like most real estate markets in this country. So today we're answering a question that I get quite often, and it is, are there home styles that are unpopular in Montana? Well, the short answer is yes. Very much so. So the long answer is let's break down and, more importantly, explain why. Before we dive into specific styles, you need to understand something important. Montana buyers are practical, lifestyle-driven, and location-focused. They care about snow load, cold winters, natural light, layout efficiency, long-term durability, and resale value. My father always told me, well bought is well sold, and he knew what he was talking about. And if a home feels impractical for Montana living, even if it's common elsewhere, it's going to be a struggle to sell it here. All right, let's get into the styles that tend to raise red flags. Let's start with the one that's probably one of the bigger ones, split level homes. These are incredibly popular homes that were in the 60s, 70s particularly, and you'll see plenty of them across Montana. But here's the truth. Many modern Montana buyers don't love them. So why split level struggle? I'll tell you. One, there are too many stairs. Montana buyers skew to being a little bit older. They're outdoorsy, family oriented. Constant short cases, up a few steps, down a few steps. They're just not ideal for aging in place, or even young kids, or anyone thinking long term. The other is a choppy layout. Montana buyers love open concepts, big sight lines, easy flow. Split levels often feel segmented, closed off, and smaller than they actually are because of it. The other is that they have poor natural light in lower levels. Basement level living spaces, even though if it's daylight, they have smaller windows. They don't pair well with Montana's long winters. And buyers want big windows, big views, and sunlight. Here's an important note. Split levels can sell, but they usually take longer. They sell for less, then they need updates or price adjustments. So it's a style you probably want to avoid. Now here's another huge one. You don't see it an awful lot, but it's very Montana specific, and I've run into it myself, and that's wood foundation homes. If you're not familiar with these are homes that are often built 70s, 80s, and 90s with treated wood foundations instead of concrete. And while they can be structurally sound, and they certainly are, Montana buyers are extremely cautious. Why? Because moisture concerns. Montana has snow, freeze-thaw cycles, ground moistures, And then buyers, they worry about rot, mold, and long-term deterioration. Even though it's marine wood, it still has that stigma that it's wood. And also you have financing challenges potentially. Some lenders will require extra inspections, might charge higher rates, they won't finance them at all. That alone knocks out a chunk of buyers. And third is an insurance hesitation. Insurance companies may charge more. They may ask for a certain amount of documentation. They might decline coverage. It's just a stigma. And the results are that even though they're, well-maintained wood foundation can often sit on the market longer. They will. I bought one myself, and it took a little longer to sell. I was very nervous about it. It attracts fewer in the market because it's unusual, and they just bring lower prices. And this is one of the biggest hurdle in resale that we see. So now the next up is formal, colonial, Tudor, East Coast traditional homes. You think heavy symmetry, say formal dining rooms, small closed off rooms, decorative over practical type homes. These styles are beautiful, but they don't match Montana's vibe. They just don't. Montana buyers prefer casual, functional, comfortable, connected to the outdoors. A home that feels stuffy, overly formal, or designed for entertaining instead of living, they can feel out of place here. So don't get me wrong. There are extremely popular historical homes in Victorian style or Neo-Georgian classical that were built around the turn of the 19th century. They are very cool and they're very popular, but they have to be in the right spot. You'll see them in mansion, like the Mansion District of Helena, or in the Bitterroot Valley, in some of the older areas in the towns of Montana. And then let's talk about tiny homes. They get a lot of attention online, but in Montana, well, as primary residents, they struggle. Why? Because Montana has space. Buyers want storage, and these people have gear, and lots of it. They got skis, snowmobiles, fishing equipment, hunting gear, tools. Tiny homes often feel too restrictive, impractical in the long term, and more like a novelty than a home. They work better as guest houses, vacation rentals, or secondary dwellings, your ADU, additional dwelling units, and they're great for that, but not as a main residence, for most buyers. Another one includes homes that are high maintenance or novelty designs. Those that have extreme modern designs with flat roofs, they're kind of an out. Experimental materials makes it a little tougher in the marketplace. They can be sold, but people just aren't familiar with them. Shipping container homes, for example, ultra custom layouts. Now remember our very custom barn dominium that sold for $750,000 and would cost $2.4 million to replace on 5 acres. It was a great property, but it took over a year to sell. So Montana buyers tend to ask, how does it hold up in winter? And if the answer isn't clear, buyer interest tends to drop off. So now here's one that is popular and often until you start living in it, and that's the log home. I know I might get in trouble for this one, but I know what I'm talking about. In addition to being in the real estate space as an investor since the time I was 24, and I've been licensed agent for nearly 40 years, I was a national sales manager for a very well-known log home company for the better part of a century. A decade. It hasn't been 100 years. Sometimes it seems like it. I was involved in the design, sale, or building of nearly 100 log homes. That's where the 100 comes in. In fact, in June of 2007, one of my designs was the cover of Architectural Digest. In fact, it was the only log home that's ever been on the cover, so far as I know. It was actually built in the Hamptons on Long Island. Now, I designed it for a famous person in network television, and I'm happy to share the whole story with you sometimes. But suffice it to say, I know log homes, and I know why people buy them. They are very cool, but here are some unspoken downsides to log construction. One, it's super expensive to build. Think about how much wood is in a log home. You could frame a number of homes with the wood that is in a log structure. They are very labor intensive to build. You have to have very good planning for things like electrical, HVAC, and you don't just run ductwork anywhere. You have to plan where you're going to put your electrical, where you're going to have your chase areas, running wiring, and other mechanical elements. Two, unless they are well designed, they can be pretty dark. Wood is dark, it absorbs light. If the design isn't very intentional, getting good light that's natural in a log home can be a challenge. And three, they can be prone to insect invasion. Log homes have cracks in logs. They're called checks. And the larger the diameter of the log, the greater the check, and the check can sometimes occur after the home is built. Some have reported that it sounded like a gun going off when a log would get dry enough to split. And these cracks have been great hiding places for insects and especially flies. It can be managed, but just be aware of the downside. And four, log homes can be very maintenance intensive. The exterior needs to be treated every 5 to 7 years with an appropriate stain to maintain the look. You could let it age naturally, like our old client Wilford Brimley did for his log homes we built for him in Utah, but it has an effect on the log in the long run. They get silvery, they've got a nice patina, but the wood does deteriorate. And you've got your decks and railings also need maintenance attention even more often than the log walls. Log homes are beautiful, and if you want one, by all means have it. Just know going in some of the downsides. All right, let's end on a high note. What do buyers want in Montana? Well, because while some styles struggle, others absolutely shine. And here are some popular home styles in Montana. First, your ranch style homes. Single level living, easy access, functional layouts, great for all ages. These are consistently strong performers. And you want to have the Montana and rustic style. Wood, stone, timber beams, big windows, log accents for sure, and log beams are great log truss systems. Buyers love homes that feel like they belong in Montana. And you also have Mountain Modern. These have clean lines, large glass windows, open concepts, and very energy efficient. These are especially popular in areas around Bozeman, Big Sky, Whitefish, and areas even like Missoula. You also have are items that are well-designed contemporary homes, as long as they're practical, durable, built for snow and cold, and modern can work when done right. So here's the big takeaway. There's nothing wrong with unpopular home styles, but you need to understand how Montana buyers think. If you're buying, building, remodeling, or selling, choosing the right style can mean faster sales, higher prices, less stress. If you have questions about your specific home, your local market, or what buyers want right now, reach out to us here at Siphers Family Real Estate. And if this video has been helpful, hit the like, subscribe to the Montana Real Estate channel, and drop us a comment or a question down below, and give us some video ideas. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.